What's poppin', everybody? It's the GOAT, Aaron Brown. And in this video, I will be talking about some devastating news that I just found out. And before this video even starts, be sure to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is linked in the description. And let's jump into it. So we seen 4-time Olympic gold medalist, 8-time World Championship gold medalist, 7-time Diamond League final winner, Michael Johnson, announced that he was starting a new track league called the Grand Slam. And they just did the media rollout last week, and it was kind of if you ask me, in my opinion. But they had a lot of exciting things that interested a lot of track and field people. But with some new discoveries that I found out, this league and these meets are 1,000% going to fail because the return on investment is going to be zero. They talking about $100,000 for first place, but they getting all of these investors involved, and these investors aren't going to make their money back. So this shit is going to fail, and it's never going to get off the ground. What seemingly sounded like a good idea quickly turned it into something detrimental in track. With the rollout, we didn't know what really to expect, but we found out some things that, one, field events wouldn't be involved, which me personally, I didn't mind because I don't really care about field events. But they talked about how, field events don't get any views, so why would we include them? I get that, but at the same time, they don't get no views because of the way that they're broadcasted and the storylines told in the traditional way in track and field. If you own your own league, you can run them the way you want to run them, and you can have the people there who you want to be there. People it don't have to be boring. People don't got to get 6 attempts in long jump. Hell, they could get 2 attempts, and the winner of that wins the whole thing. Things of that nature. But you are in full control when you own something, so you don't have to run it the traditional way. And it made me think, the investors invested $30 million, which I was like, hey, that's a cool amount, especially for a startup. But when people invest in things, they want to see a return on investment. So I was trying to see, how are these people going to make their $30 million back? So there's just like a lot of flaws that I discovered. But the biggest flaw of them all, the meets are going to be streamed on FloTrack. This was their biggest mistake that they could have ever made. And next year, 2025, FloTrack is taking over the coverage of pretty much all the track meets in the regular season, from the Diamond League meets, everything pretty much on World Athletics schedule. And people often complain, oh, we don't get to watch these meets, and they're on TV, but nobody watches them. So you got to think about it. If they're on TV and websites for free and nobody watch it, what makes you think if you charge $30 a month for people we don't even care about, or $150 per year for people we don't even care about, what makes you think that's a good idea? If you have a brand new track league and we don't even know what's really going on in this track league, you already had a lot of big athletes, big name athletes like the Femke Bowles and people of that nature say they're not going to even participate in it. You sign people like Sydney McLaughlin and making her the face of it when she already don't even run. So there's high chances that she pull out a lot of these meets anyways. Who the hell in their right mind is paying $30 a month to watch this shit? It just literally makes no sense in my opinion. That's why I feel like, maybe I'm tripping, y'all let me know down below in the comments. But I feel like this is really not going to get off the ground. This shit is going to fail. I already feel like it was going to fail initially because the original business model that I heard before it even like rolled out, I was like, I see a lot of good things, but I see more bad than good. This FloTrack thing outweighs every good that you could potentially do, because you're going to kill the viewership right then and there. Like, you want people to see what it's about. And I'm not paying for something that I don't even know about. So if the people in track who's checking for track is not even going to be tuning in, we're going to be sitting around waiting for the free highlights on Twitter and on YouTube. If we're not even paying to tune in or watch this, what makes you think that a person outside of track, which was the initial goal to even start this league, was to grow the sport to the average viewers and the average fans who don't even know anything about track? But if that was your goal, why the hell would you put this on FloTrack? And that just goes to show me that that wasn't their goal. Their goal was just to start something to get more money. But yeah, the Grand Slam League is a premier global professional track and field league featuring matchups between the fastest stars in the sport, which is CAP. The league will host 4 annual slams taking place between April and September, with 8 racers competing in one of 12 event groups. At the beginning of each slam, 4 racers per group make starter rosters to contest each slam. The next 4 racers in each group are the challengers, whose recent performances unlock a lane to the most compelling head-to-head clashes on Earth. Each athlete will compete twice over the course of the weekend, with the best combined placing determining the slam champion, which also is a huge turnout for a lot of the athletes. So if you run the 400 hurdles, I seen that Sydney would have to run the 400 and the 400 hurdles. So she would have to run 4 races that weekend for a chance to win $100,000. When Sydney McLaughlin don't even run 4 races every 2 years. In 2 years, she don't run 4 races. So you mean to tell me 4 times a year, Sydney McLaughlin is about to run 4 races? That doesn't even sound logical. I do believe this whole ordeal is silly. Femke Bol coach went to Twitter, said, "Nothing against innovation and more professionalism in our beloved sport, but actually it's quite the opposite. But we won't compete in the 400 and the 400 hurdles in 3 days with probably 3 out of 4 meets in United States/Caribbean, April, May, June. More money, more duels, and our sport is good, but it has to make sense." And you got to think the biggest track and field circuit is in Europe. Femke Bol is already in Europe, and Femke Bol runs all the time. So her coming over here to appease Sydney when Sydney only runs 1 time a year. Sydney never comes to Europe. Hell, Sydney don't even run. So why would Femke Bol travel way from Europe to LA and Sydney don't got to do no traveling or do no racing? That shit just doesn't make sense. And I agree with Femke Bol's coach. And someone said that Sydney McLaughlin and Femke have never raced each other outside of major championships. Femke Bol coach said, although Femke is racing quite often outside of major championships. So he's pretty much alluding to that Sydney is never running. That's why they never race. Femke done ran a whole indoor season. She done ran indoor world. She done ran 4x4, mixed 4x4s, open 4s. Outdoor, she's running every weekend. She's running the open 4. She's running 4x4s. She's running the 400 hurdles. So he's saying pretty much it's on Sid why they haven't raced. It's not on Femke, because Femke is outside and Sid is somewhere in the house ducking and dodging. So I agree with Femke Bol's coach on here. Like, logistically, it doesn't make sense. If Sydney was putting in the effort to do some racing sometimes and she was on the scene racing, I would get them coming to LA and racing Sydney while she was at home. But the fact that she never runs, I don't think she deserves the opportunity for Femke to do such a thing.